Meanwhile, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan is pushing for a floor vote tomorrow to officially become the next Speaker of the House. More than 50 Republicans reportedly are still opposing his nomination. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy joined me yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures, and he said that he thinks Jordan will get there. Watch this.
Talked to Jim last night. He's talking to every single member, assessing what their challenges are. But we've got to be able to work together.
Is there a consensus candidate that could get the votes if Jim Jordan does not? What about Mike Johnson, Kevin Hern?
I don't think either of them would come very short. I think Jim Jordan can get the votes.
And there are still people pushing for Speaker McCarthy to get back with the gavel. Joining me now is Missouri Congressman Mark Alford. He's a member of the Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. How do you think this plays out?
Well, look, Maria, I'm first off disappointed that we did not stay in Washington over the weekend. We have gone 13 days now without a rudder on our ship, without a Speaker of the House. We needed to stay there and get this business done. Regardless, we're going back today. We're having a family meeting again down in the basement below the Capitol there in HC5, and we're going to talk a little bit more. I thought we were going to have a vote tonight at 6:30, but that's not the case. They're saying tomorrow at noon.
Tell me about the pushback here. What are the GOP holdouts wanting? Why won't they get behind Jim Jordan?
Well, look, I am behind Jim Jordan. I've been trying to promote him and get others to promote him as well. I think he's the best solution to get 217 in our conference. We have 18 members, though, who won in Biden-strong districts, a lot of those in the New York area, who are going to have a difficult time selling this to their constituents because Jim Jordan is conservative. Look, he's pushing the impeachment inquiry into President Biden. He's doing the investigation into Hunter Biden. And so it's going to be hard for some of these moderate Republicans to sell Jim Jordan to their constituency. He's got to have 217. Without that, we're going to have to find another candidate.
So is that what it is? They want the investigation into Biden and the investigation into Hunter Biden's influence peddling. They want it to end? Is that what the GOP holdout are pushing for?
They have not said that. I know that our House Armed Services Chair, Mike Rogers, is concerned with Jordan's stance on military funding and some other issues. I know there are some in the military world who are not happy with Jim Jordan. On the Ag Committee, there are a lot of things. I'm on the Agriculture Committee as well. There are some members who are hesitant to vote for Jim Jordan because of his stance on biofuels and supports of those for tax credits. And so some of these really conservative issues that have popped up in his past are now coming back and being reviewed to see if maybe he can bring some sort of consensus to our body.
I see. Okay. Alabama Congressman and Chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Mike Rogers, you just mentioned him. He's pretty adamant about refusing to back Jordan for Speaker. He's suggesting that Republicans work with Democrats to select an alternative. Utah Senator Mike Lee is calling this idea outrageous. He writes on X, Jordan has the support of both Kevin McCarthy and Patrick McHenry. Yet Rogers and some Republicans would rather work with Democrats and vote for Hakeem Jeffries. Is that what's happening?
Well, look, I talked with Chairman Rogers in our meeting at the Ways and Means Committee room while we were voting on Jim Jordan right before that vote to make sure that he was in line with not wanting to vote for Jordan. Although I did vote for Jordan, I supported him. I disagree with Chairman Rogers on this. I respect him highly. He is a great man of integrity. If he did say that, if he did mean that, I disagree with him.
Well, I mean, look. If this is just about the Biden investigation and you've got GOPers telling Jim Jordan they don't want him to pursue this influence peddling investigation, is that the deal that he's supposed to make with Democrats in order to get the Speaker?
I just want to clarify, Maria, no one from that delegation has told me that to be the case. I have heard things in the media and others that said, hey, if you're going to go with a consensus candidate, let's pick someone who's going to drop the Biden impeachment hearings. That should not happen. That's what Jim Jordan is so good at. And that's another reason some people don't want him leaving his chairmanship, because he's done extraordinary work in the impeachment inquiry and the oversight and the investigation into the Biden crime family.
Yeah, because I think that the public would like to know specifically which Republicans are telling Jim Jordan to stop the Biden impeachment inquiry. I think our viewers would like to know their names specifically. If that's what they're telling Jim Jordan, and that's why they're not supporting him, we want to know about it. A new ABC Ipsos poll finds more than half of the country disapproves of how President Biden is handling the war between Israel and Hamas, meanwhile, as we are learning now that the administration sent more than $30 million of COVID relief money to a Palestinian relief group who is now being accused of harboring the Hamas terrorists, Congressman. This cannot get any worse. Now we learn that this administration spent our COVID money to terrorists.
Well, look, it's a shame how the Biden administration has handled this from the outset. And once again, I go back to looking at how President Trump would have handled this. This situation, this crisis, I think never would have happened had Trump still been in office. The crisis in Afghanistan, the crisis with Russia and Ukraine, the crisis that's going on with China and its pending takeover of Taiwan. This president has shown weakness from the very beginning. They should not equivocate. They should not be supporting Hamas in any form or fashion. And we've got to be resolute in our denunciation of Hamas, the terrorist organization, and call it that. And we've got to find a solution that is going to work the best for the Israeli people.
Well, has it become an issue that you do not have a speaker in terms of any progress regarding this aid toward Israel? I know that the Senate Foreign Relations Committee is having a hearing for former Treasury Secretary Jack Lew this week. They want him to be the ambassador to Israel. Is that going to do anything? Will that make a difference? And what specifically have you had to stop or not move forward as a result of the lack of speaker regarding Israel?
Well, look, we have a resolution that's signed by more than 400 members of Congress that we can't pass through the House because we don't have a Speaker of the House. We need to be resupplying the Israelis to rebuild the Iron Dome, to give them the armaments and the money they need. We cannot do that. And it's a shame to see Chuck Schumer over there supporting Israelis when we cannot be over there. Kevin McCarthy has a great relationship with the people of Israel and that leadership. I know he's been in contact, but he can't do anything right now. He is not the Speaker of the House anymore, but he is maintaining that relationship, hopefully until someone can step in and fulfill our commitments to Israel.
Well, wasn't it a little reckless to actually step down with no speaker? I mean, shouldn't he still be the speaker until a new speaker is found?
That was up to Kevin McCarthy. He fought and fought and fought. He has true grit. I stood behind him as many other people did. This should never have happened. He should not have left, but that was under his own decision for the good of the country and for the good of our body. He fought as long as he could and realized that when he could not get those votes, he had no other choice.
Wow. All right, Congressman, thanks very much. A very tenuous time right now. We'll be watching it all. Mark Alford joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.